Here's an uncomfortable question. If you retired tomorrow, do you know exactly how much money would land in your account every month and whether it would actually cover your life? Most people don't. And that's not a knock on you. Retirement planning was never taught in school, and the rules keep changing. But here's the problem. Small mistakes made in your 50s and 60s don't just cost you a little. They can cost you tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars over a 25 or 30-year retirement. The good news? Almost every one of these mistakes is fixable, and most take less than an hour to correct once you know what to look for. In this video, I'm walking you through the 10 biggest retirement mistakes that quietly drain people's savings, the ones financial planners see over and over again. Some of these you've probably heard of. A couple might genuinely surprise you. Quick gut check before we start. Can you name, off the top of your head, how much you're currently paying in fees on your retirement accounts? Most people can't. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where to look. Let's get into it. Mistake number 1. Claiming Social Security too early. You can claim Social Security as early as 62, but claiming early locks in a permanently reduced monthly check, often 25 to 30% less than if you'd waited until your full retirement age, and significantly less than if you'd waited until 70. Imagine two neighbors, both entitled to $2,000 a month at full retirement age. One claims at 62 and gets around $1,400 a month for life. The other waits until 70 and locks in closer to $2,480 a month. Over a 25-year retirement, that gap adds up to well over $300,000. Action step. Today, log into your Social Security account online and look at the difference between your benefit at 62, at full retirement age, and at 70. Just seeing the numbers side by side changes how people think about this decision. Mistake number 2. Not knowing your real retirement number. A lot of people have a vague sense of, I should have some savings, but no actual target. Without a number, you can't tell if you're behind, on track, or actually in great shape. A common rule of thumb many planners use is you'll need roughly 70 to 80% of your pre-retirement income each year to maintain your lifestyle. So if you're currently living on $80,000 a year, that's somewhere around $56,000 to $64,000 a year in retirement, from all sources combined: Social Security, pensions, and savings. Picture someone at 58 who's never actually done this math. They assume they're probably fine. When they finally run the numbers, they find a $15,000 a year gap. That's stressful to discover at 58, but it's a crisis to discover at 67. Action step. This week, add up your expected Social Security, any pension, and 4% of your current retirement savings. That rough total is your realistic annual retirement income. Compare it to what you actually spend now. Mistake number 3. Paying high fees without realizing it. Fees on retirement accounts are often hidden in fine print: expense ratios, advisory fees, and fund management costs. A 1% annual fee sounds tiny. It isn't. On a $400,000 portfolio, the difference between paying 0.25% and 1.25% in annual fees can cost you over $150,000 in lost growth over 20 years. That's not a typo. That's the power of compounding working against you instead of for you. Think about someone with a 401k they haven't looked at closely since they opened it in 1998. They assume it's just how it works. It's not. Fees vary enormously between funds and providers. Action step. Pull up your latest 401k or IRA statement and find the expense ratio on each fund you're holding. If you can't find it, call the provider and ask directly, "What am I paying in fees?" If any of these numbers surprised you so far, drop a comment with your age. I'd genuinely like to see how many of us are realizing this at the same time. Mistake number 4. Underestimating healthcare costs.
Healthcare is one of the biggest retirement expenses people plan for the least. A healthy 65-year-old couple can expect to spend somewhere in the range of $300,000 or more on healthcare and medical costs throughout retirement, and that's before factoring in long-term care. Imagine a couple who budgeted carefully for travel and hobbies, but never sat down and estimated Medicare premiums, supplemental insurance, dental, or potential long-term care. That gap can quietly eat into savings meant for everything else. Action step. Look into what Medicare actually covers and doesn't, and check whether a health savings account, if you have access to one, is fully funded before you retire. Mistake number 5. Carrying high-interest debt into retirement. Credit card debt, high-interest personal loans, or an unpaid car loan don't disappear when the paychecks stop. In fact, they become far more dangerous because you're now paying interest with a fixed, limited income instead of a growing salary. Picture someone retiring with $12,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest. On a fixed income, that debt can snowball faster than they can pay it down, eating into money that was meant to cover groceries and utilities. Action step. List out every debt you're carrying right now with its interest rate. Prioritize paying off the highest interest debt before your official retirement date, not after. Mistake number 6. Not having a withdrawal strategy. Saving money is only half the equation. Knowing how to withdraw it, in what order, from which accounts, and how much per year is just as important, and it's the part almost nobody plans for. Many planners point to a starting guideline of withdrawing around 4% of your portfolio in the first year of retirement, adjusting slightly for inflation after that. Without a plan, some retirees pull too much too soon and risk running out. Others are so afraid of running out that they barely spend anything and end up more stressed than they need to be. Action step. Before you retire, write down, even roughly, which accounts you'll draw from first and why. Taxable accounts, then tax-deferred, then Roth is a common order many planners suggest, but your situation may differ. Mistake number 7. Ignoring taxes in retirement. A lot of people assume taxes go away once the paychecks stop. They don't. Withdrawals from traditional 401ks and IRAs are taxed as ordinary income, and depending on your total income, up to 85% of your Social Security benefit can also be taxable. Here's a real lifestyle example. Take Linda, 63, who has almost all her savings in a traditional IRA. When she runs the numbers, she realizes that a large withdrawal in 1 year could push her into a higher tax bracket than she expected, something she never considered while she was working and just watching the balance grow. Action step. Talk to a tax professional about which of your accounts are taxable, tax-deferred, or tax-free, and roughly what your tax picture looks like once withdrawals begin. Pause for a second and actually think about your own accounts right now. Are they mostly traditional, mostly Roth, or a mix? I'll wait.
Mistake number 8. Being too conservative or too aggressive with investments. Some people, scared by market swings, move everything into cash or ultra-safe accounts the moment they retire. Others keep taking on the same investment risk at 68 that they did at 38. Both extremes can quietly cost you. Being too conservative for a 25 to 30-year retirement means your money may not keep up with inflation. Being too aggressive means a bad market year early in retirement can do outsized damage to your savings. Most planners suggest a gradual shift in the years leading up to and through retirement, not a sudden all-or-nothing move. Action step. Review your current investment mix and ask whether it matches a multi-decade retirement, not just how you feel about the stock market this week. Mistake number 9. Retiring without a real budget. It's common to leave work with a rough sense of monthly expenses rather than an actual number. Without a working budget, it's easy to overspend in year 1, often on travel, home projects, or helping adult kids, and not notice the impact until a few years in. Think of someone who retires, feels flush with a lump sum payout, spends generously in year 1 on a kitten remodel and a big trip, and then realizes by year 3 that their monthly income doesn't comfortably cover it going forward. Action step. Build a simple monthly retirement budget now based on real numbers from your current spending before you actually stop working. Mistake number 10. Not updating beneficiaries and estate documents. This one is easy to forget because it doesn't feel urgent, But outdated beneficiary designations on retirement accounts and life insurance policies can override even the most carefully written will, sending money to an ex-spouse or the wrong person entirely. Action step: pull up your 401k, IRA, and life insurance beneficiary designations this week and confirm they still reflect your current wishes. So, 10 mistakes, and every single one of them is fixable once you know it's there. The common thread? Small blind spots, left unchecked for years, are what turn into thousands of dollars lost. Here's your one next step. Pick just one mistake from this list, the one that hit closest to home, and take its action step this week. Not all 10, just one. And of course, everyone's situation is different, so treat everything here as a starting point, not personal financial advice. If you want to know exactly how to calculate your real retirement number in the next 10 minutes, watch that video next. And if this one helped, hit subscribe so you don't miss it.